Today we're building walls for our hoop house. All right, so we're out here. It's still January, still snow on the ground. In fact, we got about 6 inches of snow. We had that kind of January thaw where I was out here doing the hoops and building out the structure for everything here. It's getting warmer. It's in the 30s today. It's supposed to be in the 40s this weekend. So I got a couple days out here, a couple days where I can get out here and get to work on this thing. What I plan to do, start today and tomorrow, is building the end walls. This is going to require some treated lumber. I do have some windows that were salvaged from a garage sale that somebody just gave me for free. There's five windows I'm going to put in. I'm not going to do plastic on the whole walls here. I'm going to actually enclose these in a little bit. I know that will cause a little bit of shade, but I'm not too concerned about that. I want to kind of protect the end of this hoop house from the wind, and also get a little bit of rigidity and structure to this thing so it's a little more solid. One of the things a lot of people have talked about in the design is this ridge right down the center here, that when we get a lot of snow, that this is going to be weak. I do agree with that. I think that, you know, if we were to get a real heavy snow and this weren't heated, that snow weren't able to melt, that it would bend these pipes down in the middle here. You know, if we got a foot of snow on this thing, that's quite a bit of weight, especially if it's wet snow. And so what I'm going to do, I'm probably not going to do that right away, but I will build a beam structure that goes down the middle, probably two 2x6s or 2x4s that goes straight down the center there of that conduit, and then a couple posts in the middle. It'll also rest on the end walls, and so part of my end wall design today is going to be building a little shelf for those 2x6s. So let's go ahead and dig in. I'll show you what we're doing to get started. right, so one end wall is completed. I'm not going to be putting the actual face on this yet, the actual that brick paneling that I have. I'll actually wait to put that on here until after I get the plastic on. So my plan is to pull the plastic over the edge and underneath these supports right here, and then screw some scrap 2x4s to pinch the plastic in between the back of these 2x4s, and then some scrap pieces. Same here, and then all the way around, so that'll pull that tight. And then I'll put my paneling on top of that, so it'll cover all the plastic on the end, and it'll also help hold it tight as well. Screw that down. The windows are they're something. I didn't show putting these in. My camera got too cold and it wouldn't videotape, so there's not too much to it. They unfortunately don't really fit in here well. The way that these were from, like I think they had those like little crank handles on them, so they'd come out and they only would go out like this far, so they're not meant to open all the way. And so what I may do is just rip the little hinges off that are on there and just end up putting some metal hinges on the outside of this once I get my my board up here at the wall, and then just redoing those totally. I may also just keep them screwed closed like they are right now. I just screwed them in there, and instead put a piece here that opens completely or is removable, where I can put a fan in, or maybe this whole section here comes out and I can put a fan in, something like that. So I did put these braces on here. I didn't feel like it was stable this way. Once I get the paneling on the side of this thing, with the wind whipping across this field here right at the end of this thing, I felt like it's going to take a lot of stress. So for right now, I have this these two support beams, and then I just have them anchored to the ground with this conduit. I may actually also put another piece of rebar or something right through, like drill a hole right through the end here and put it right into the ground, keep them from sliding out. Of course, once I get my beam in here down the road, it'll strengthen this whole thing up from end to end also, so I don't think that'll be too big of an issue. But I did have the option with the windows too. I could have put the windows up higher, and that may have been better, but I kind of like them down low. They're easier to open and close if they end up opening and closing. But worst case scenario, we'll have these removable, so these kind of end up being windows too. Maybe put some screens in there or something. It's definitely coming together, and man, is it more stable now. The whole thing, that one wall made this whole thing way more stable. Once I get the other end wall up, I think this is gonna be a pretty strong little structure. So couldn't be happier with it. I like it. It's gonna be, man, I can't wait to get the plastic on this thing. Warm weather coming up here soon. It's about 20 today, so too cold to deal with the plastic, but it's supposed to be 50 this weekend, so we'll see what happens. This is where the smokestack will come out for my maple syrup evaporator and then run up on the outside here. And so I wanted to make sure there's no plastic or wood or anything like that combustible around that, so I use this cement board. I may paint this with some barbecue black paint and just keep that, you know, looking a little nicer, and from the heat, to protect it from the heat as well. Man, I can't wait for some warm weather. It's killing me out here working in the 20-degree weather. Hands are freezing cold, but this project is coming along slowly. I still have the other end wall to do yet, and that's where the door and entryway and all that good stuff will be. It's going to practically be the same exact process as I did on this end. In fact, the size of the door and everything's going to be the same as where this cement board is, so no sense in going through this twice with you guys. I'll get the other end finished, and the next time you'll see this, that will be done, and we'll be ready to put plastic on this. I'll take you through how I'm putting plastic on, and then I'll take you through another video with the finishing touches on everything here. So as always, guys, I'd love to hear from you. What do you think? How's it coming along? You guys had a lot of good suggestions so far, and I always appreciate it. As always, tap thumbs up, guys. Always appreciate it. And subscribe if you want to follow along. All the greenhouse fun coming up this spring. Man, I can't wait. Can't wait to get some things planted in here and get that maple syrup evaporator going. It's going to be fun. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.